arriving at the first ever Rickademy Awards. And I don't know about you, but this is a wow moment for me. I'm Amanda Kurzman, reporting live with the Rick News. Let's see what the stars have to say. Lisa, come over here! Lisa, to your right! To your right! Lisa! Oh my gosh, Lisa! I'm here with Emily Burks. Emily, you look amazing. You're such a jet setter. Where's next?
Next, I am headed out on the Rick Steves Heart of Portugal in 12 Days tour this August, and I just can't wait for the Douro Valley.
Amazing. We can't wait to hear about it in a trip report. Best of luck tonight. I hope you have an amazing time.
Thanks so much.
I'm here with the amazing Lisa Friend. Lisa, it's so good to see you. Of course, you are nominated tonight for your amazing packing videos. You look beautiful. I have to ask, what do you never leave home without?
Well, it is an honor just to be nominated. I'm so happy to be here, but I never leave home without my Rick Steves money belt. Loyal viewers know that I wear it like it's a religion.
We love that, Lisa. Thank you so much. We're all rooting for you tonight. I hope you have an amazing time.
Thank you.
I'm here with Gabe Gunning, and Gabe, it's so good to see you. You look amazing. Can you believe that it's the 200th episode of Monday Night Travel?
You know, Amanda, I remember Rick, Ben, and I before our first ever show in November 2020, double, triple, quadruple checking our Zoom settings. And now that it has grown to 200 episodes, I feel so grateful, and so grateful to our Monday Night Travelers.
And we're so grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm getting word that the show is about to begin. We have a lot of great travel destinations coming up. So thank you so much for joining us. Keep on watching, and of course, keep on traveling.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Travel with Rick Steves Europe. My name is Lisa Friend and I'm delighted to be here with my colleagues, Emily, Gabe, and Ben. We're so grateful to be invited into your homes.
As the chairman of the Rickademy, I'm excited to explain how tonight's event is going to unfold. But first, I want to offer a little cheers, certainly to my fellow presenters, but also to all of you that have made up this incredible Monday Night Travel community over the past 5 years. So cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. There we
I
go.
can't read you, Lisa. But
Emily.
yeah.
Cheers, everyone. All right, now let's get down into the details. So, for our inaugural Rickademy Awards, we are going to be presenting 6 different categories, each of which is going to have 4 nominees. The categories are Most Engaging Experience, Most Evocative Village, Best Musical Moment, Most Delicious Dish, Greatest of the Great Cities, and finally, the grand prize category, Most Magnificent Monday Night. Throughout this, we are going to be discussing destinations, experiences, and other cultural moments that we have talked about in our past 199 shows, and we are so excited to relive them with you. In some of the categories, we are going to be presenting the 4 nominees using video clips from past episodes so we can take a trip together down memory lane. And in the other categories, we 4 Monday Night Travel hosts are going to be advocating live for certain nominees with mini 1-minute presentations. At the end of each category, you are going to have the opportunity to vote for who, or rather what, activity takes home the Rickademy Award. So get ready to vote. Ben, I am going to turn things over to you to introduce our first category for the evening.
Thank you very much, Gabe, Lisa, Emily. Happy 200 shows. I have the pleasure of introducing the first category, as Gabe said, and it's a trendy one. When thinking about where you'd like to travel, it's often worthwhile to consider what type of experience or experiences you'd like to have. So give it up for Most Engaging Experience. This will be presented by video. Let's go to the nominees.
We left our bags. Later on, we stowed our hiking sticks because it got to be a scramble where we're just hiking up. And you can see right here, the dancing table in the shadow of this shark fin kind of peak. And I was just about to the top of this. And I started to get second thoughts. And I was kind of hemming and hawing and wondering, should I get to the top? And there I am, just 100 meters from the top of that little hike. And my phone rings. I couldn't believe it. My phone rang. And it was Ollie. And he was looking at us from his balcony, from his back porch, with his telescope. And he sensed that I was about to chicken out. And he said, Rick, you got to do it. Don't stop. It's just another 50 meters. You can do it. It's okay. And I went up there. We hiked up to the very top and we danced on the dancing table. And it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. I'm so thankful for Ollie and his telescope to make sure I didn't lose my nerve at the very end.
This market it pretty much swallows up much of the center part of the town of Bowen. This is the produce section of Maybeser, of course. I'm going to walk you along into this building here, which is the old market hall. This is where you buy your meats, your pâtés, your desserts, your cheeses, you name it. This market hall that you're looking at is also, speaking of cheeses, where the great wine auction in Bowen takes place.
What a hive of activity. What is it about markets that the Burgundians, the French, love so much?
It's not just Burgundy, it's everywhere. It's the great importance they place on fresh produce.
On our Scotland tour, one of the biggest wow moments is getting to visit a working sheepdog farm, which is, it honestly is a working farm, and the animals are a highlight, but really what's spectacular is to watch the shepherd use the dogs in what they were meant to do, what they were bred to do. And so our group gets to gather around and actually witness how the shepherd works with the dogs to keep all of his little animals together.
Dog will not come back to you. There's a Dutch bird called Dog. The dog won't come back to you and see this stuff. Keep apart. Let your neighbor keep you. Let's take the violence driving.
But it was now time to paddle the Hardanger Fjord, where my ancestors farmed for centuries. We immediately saw very different terrain, with more farms and orchards on the hillsides. The weather was warming, and paddling conditions were improving as the fjord was widening.
An absolutely gorgeous day. Wonderful, wonderful day to be on the water.
We had all been drawn to this place. Norway is a place of fierce and spectacular beauty. It's a beauty that invites and draws you in and begins to shape you. Home is place.
An excellent set of nominees, I think. And now all of you get to decide which nominee is the winner of the category Most Engaging Experience.
All right, let's launch that poll.
Okay.
All right, Ben, so remind us, what are our options?
Yes, we have kayaking in the Norwegian fjords, remarkable. Hiking in the Swiss Alps with Rick, can't beat that. Perusing French markets.
I hope to beat that.
And sheepdogs at work in Scotland.
Ooh, whatever, right? Emily, you got to see the sheepdogs at work recently, right?
I did. I went on our Scotland tour last year and I actually got to see that shepherd at work, and he is kind of a wizard out there with his staff. He reminded me a little bit of Gandalf, the way he could just control his dogs and his sheep like that. It was really cool.
Do the working sheepdogs get good benefits?
They get a lot of love from Neil, and they also get a lot of pets from the visitors. So I think they're living a pretty good life.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it is looking like a close one.
It
Every
is.
every vote counts.
Do they need a little bit more time?
I think we're all
We're
wrapped
pretty
up.
good.
So it was a very tight vote, but Ben, I think it is time to present
Yes, I'm gonna.
who gets our first Rickademy Award. So here is our Rickademy Award, coveted prize.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. It's kayaking the Norwegian fjord.
Kayaking the Norwegian fjords.
Beauty.
We'll have to put this in an envelope and send it to Dave Ellingson, our paddle pilgrim. So, and all of you who loved our fjords, remember that you can go back and watch that episode in our Monday Night Travel archive. All right.
So I believe I get to introduce the next category. Is that true?
That is very true, Lisa. So let me pull this up. So we just settled our first category, most engaging experience, and we're on to our next one.
So I have the pleasure to introduce Most Evocative Village, and I'm excited to introduce this category because being from a small town myself, I find Europe's villages to be easy to nestle into, to become a temporary European away from museums with timed reservations, fighting with crowds, and settling into the rhythm of daily life.
All right, well, I think I am going to begin with our first nominee. I need a little sip of wine.
And this is a perfect place to enjoy.
Perfect place to
that.
enjoy it. Okay, 1 minute mini presentation. Here we go. When I think of evocative village in Europe, my mind instantly leaps to Italy's seaside Cinque Terre, and for good reason. The villages are almost unbearably idyllic, and there are 5 of them. But I'm just talking about one today, the most accessible village of Monterosso al Mare, which features these pink and yellow houses all cobbled together. And just on the other side is the town's greatest feature, which is its broad, umbrella-dotted beach, which is serene by day and by night, with plenty of nice viewpoints you can hike to appreciate it. The sea is also the source of the Cinque Terre's prized seafood, though as a vegetarian myself, I prefer the pesto that also originates from this area. And, of course, finishing an evening with wine from grapes grown on the steep slopes of the Cinque Terre. Once you've had your fill, in Monterosso, boats and trains await to sweep you away easily to the next village, each with its own character. Or you can put on your hiking boots and walk your way to Vernazza and beyond. That is it for Monterosso al Mare, and Lisa, you are up next with Dingle.
Well, I feel like Dingle has a lot to offer. Dingle is a small harbor town in the southwest coast of Ireland. It has a population of around 2,000 people. Its main industries are fishing and tourism, and you can see how picturesque it is. Also, it has 52 pubs, one for each week of the year. It attracts fishermen, as I mentioned, and has a great natural harbor. It also attracts artisans such as leather workers, crystal workers who were trained in Waterford, and musicians. Dingle is a mecca for live music and has some of the best live music scene in all of Ireland. Now, speaking of scenes, the natural beauty of the Dingle Peninsula is married beautifully with its history. So they say there are more sheep on the peninsula than people. It's a 30-mile loop, the Slayhead Loop. And these are beehive huts where Irish monks lived against battling the weather and the wind for hundreds of years. Now, I mentioned that there were fishermen in Dingletown, and I have to say that my favorite seafood restaurant in the entire world is in Dingle. It's called Out of the Blue Seafood, and it is a perfect marriage between a French chef, the friendliness of the Irish people, and seafood that was swimming in the sea in the morning. So I believe Dingle to be the most evocative village that we have to offer here tonight at the Rickademy Awards.
Well, that was an excellent pitch for Dingle, Lisa, but please, viewers, now allow me to introduce you to the fairy tale village of your dreams. Český Krumlov is an adorable and well-preserved medieval town in the southern Czech Republic, nestled in the lush green hills of Bohemia. The old town is almost completely surrounded by the Vltava River, which served as a natural moat for its inhabitants for centuries. And in the old town, you will find a time warp. It looks much as it did during Český Krumlov's golden age in the 16th century, when it attracted artists, scientists, and scholars from all over Europe. The main square boasts a rainbow of Renaissance and Baroque homes, including a pharmacy that has been operating since 1620. It's that red one in the corner next to the larger white building. Just across the river is Český Krumlov's castle. From around 1300 to 1600, the Rosenberg family ran the city from this lavish perch. And today, a visit to the castle offers a look at the luxurious lives of the nobility, which during the day would include a hike around the family's 2,000-foot-long garden, and at night, a Venetian-style masquerade and a play in the Baroque theater, which you can still visit today. They are still holding live performances. And of course, a family of European brown bears who have lived in the castle's bear moat since the 16th century are still around for visitors today. For another perspective of the castle and the old town, rent a canoe and paddle down the Vltava River. There are plenty of companies in town that will rent you canoes or rafts for your paddle, which takes just about 30 minutes, and really anyone can do it. This is my sister and I taking on the rapids, which are pretty mild, and we did just fine. And there's no better way to celebrate an accomplished day of sightseeing than with a dinner along the river in one of the many cafes. All right, over to you, Ben.
Thank you, Emily. Tough acts to follow, I must say, but last but certainly not least, if you want a time capsule of a village that stands a test of time, I welcome you to Bacharach on the German Rhine River. You can walk along Bacharach's main drag in 10 minutes, but in that short time, you will traverse 700 years of history and unparalleled charm. Bacharach would be nothing without the Rhine. It is surrounded by steep vineyard hillsides capped with medieval castles, and along the Rhine is some of the best hiking anywhere. A fine Bacharach thrill is hopping on a river cruise and viewing the landscape by boat. This is where some of the best Rhine wine, say that 10 times fast, originates. And to go with that wine, don't underestimate little Bacharach's fine restaurant scene and food options either. While biking paths line the shore, hiking paths line the hillside, where you'll come across stalls of local wine for sale on the honor system. Bacharach and the Rhine know how to celebrate. The annual Rhine in Flames Festival presents spectacular fireworks in summer. And Lisa, you've been there, isn't that right?
I've been there. In July and September, they do it at different towns. It was amazing.
So regardless of whether you sip wine all day in town or put your feet to work biking or hiking, Never Changing Bacharach offers the quintessential European village experience. And that's why it's the best village in Europe, in my opinion.
Nice. Excellent pitch, Ben. Excellent pitch, everyone. Gabe, will you launch our poll, please, so our viewers can vote? Remember, you can vote for Monte Rosso al Mare in the Cinque Terre. You can vote for Dingle in the southwest corner of Ireland. You can vote for Český Krumlov in Bohemia in the Czech Republic, or Bacharach on the Rhine in Germany. I was taught to say it that way by Harry Young, the old schoolmaster, and he always used to say, you need just a little bit more phlegm. So, how is it slowing down?
I think we need a little bit more
Need a little bit
time.
more time?
And I have to say, Lisa, although my heart is obviously with Český Krumlov, the ratio of pubs to citizens in Dingle is hard to beat.
I mean, you can go hear live music every night of the year practically. And Cillian Murphy just bought the local movie theater, so it will keep running first-rate cinema there in the little
Oh.
You're cheating now.
I am.
Yeah.
Well, and the friendliness of the people in Dingle is top notch as well.
Okay, let's not be promoting Dingle too much right now while the ballot box is still open. I liked that Ben talked about saying Rhine wine 10 times fast. I think especially after a few glasses of Rhine wine.
Yeah, that would be
even
even
more
better.
challenging.
I'll put you to the test, Gabe.
All right, Gabe, because you're closer, have the votes.
Yes. Yep.
So you're going to actually have to make it bigger somehow, or tell me what, or write it down in my little thing. Okay. All right, and the winner is, by not a huge margin, Dingle, Ireland.
Ah, Lisa, congratulations on your Rickademy.
2,000 people in Dingle, Ireland. I would like to accept this award. Thank you.
It was very close, wasn't it?
It was. Actually, all of our votes have been quite close. So, just proof of what high quality nominees we have this evening. All right, so we have now wrapped up our second category for the evening, Most Evocative Village, and we are on to our third.
Which I have the pleasure of introducing. So over the years, some of our Monday night travels have inspired some song, some music, and some of which was planned and some of which was impromptu. And so our next category for the Rickademy Award is Best Musical Moment. And here are our nominees.
Right, so I'm going to pull up our nominees, and this will be another video nominee category, so you can experience these musical moments again.
So what I'd like to do right now is share with you a little concert I made. Baroque, Neoclassical, Romantic, Impressionism. Hey, I'm Rick Steves, and those are the art periods that our eyes know, but I want to talk about it for your ears. Baroque lasts from about 1600 to 1750. This is after the Renaissance. It's more ornate, more flowery. Bach, Handel, Scarlatti, the big Baroque composers, all born in the same year, 1685. A great Baroque sort of style is taking two melodies and weaving them together, like this Bach invention. Also, Baroque is ornamented, lots of frills, lots of trills. Here's a dance by Scarlatti, and it's a good illustration of that floweriness of Baroque. Right now, can you take us to 3 regions in Italy to demonstrate how each region has its distinct culture and pride?
Of course, Rick. So, Roman song, typical Roman song of my area. This one, Tanto per cantà. Per fa' una vita meno amara, mi son comprato sta chitarra, e quando il sole scende e mori, mi sento un coro cantatori, la voce è poca mantonata, non basta a fa sta serenata, ma solamente a fa maniera, e dammi in sogna prima sera.
I am ready to rock and roll. This is a song written by a man called Harry Glasson, and it's called Cornwall, My Home, and I'd like to share it with all of you. I stood on Cape Cornwall in the sun's evening glow, at June Hill at Newlyn, and watched the fishing fleets go. For this is my Eden, and I'm not alone. For this is my Cornwall, and this is my home.
Mic drop.
All right, here we go. Christoph's yodel.
Yo tuli, yo lo lo tio, yo lo lo tio, yo lo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo lo tio, yo lo lo tio, yo lo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo lo tio, tio la 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 la. And then you ovulate. I mean, modulate. You go up a little bit, and you go yo and accelerando. Yo tuli, yo lo lo tio, yo lo lo tio, yo lo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo tio, yo lo tio, yo lo tio, tio la la la, yo lo tio, tio la 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 la. Switzerland. All right.
Bravo!
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think it's going to be a close race, but Gabe, can you open the polls for us?
The polls will be open in 3, 2, 1.
All
Oh.
right. So just to review, you can choose between Rick's piano recital, David's Roman serenade, Charlie's Cornish ballad, and Rick's yodeling.
We are very privileged to have so many multi-talented colleagues. It is kind of incredible, especially how many of our guides also have some incredible hidden talent.
Yes.
Lisa, you're one of our guides. What's your hidden talent?
I'm hysterical.
Which is a good talent.
I
in
don't
a
think
guide.
that's hidden.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
definitely
knows.
good. Yeah.
Well, the Monday night travel people are like being on a tour bus with me a little bit as an audience.
That's true.
And I love an audience.
We certainly love our audience, and they are busy voting, but it looks like things are slowing down.
All right.
Can you believe that Charlie did that a cappella?
I know.
Beautifully done.
That's impressive.
And truly impromptu.
Yeah.
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 Amazing. All right. The polls have officially closed, and it's time to announce our next Rickademy Award, which, drumroll please, goes to Rick's piano recital.
Rick! Oh, Rick will enjoy having an award with his face on it. And now we are halfway through our voting categories. I think that we've already had some surprises,
Yeah,
I would say.
absolutely.
And now that we have determined the best musical moment from our past 199 shows, we are going to move on to our fourth category, most delicious dish. Now, when we travel, we should strive to experience the local cultures with all of our senses, and certainly the most sumptuous sense to indulge is taste. Fortunately, Europe is a buffet of mouth-watering treats, and we're going to sink our teeth into a few of our favorites now. This is going to be another category that we present live, and starting us out is going to be my colleague, Emily Burks.
Don't mind if I do. And I hope the three of you like the taste of defeat, because pizza is obviously the world's favorite food. And while pizza has been exported across the world, nothing can beat a pizza in its birthplace, Naples. It could be the passion of the pizza maker, it could be the salty sea air in Naples, or it could be the fact that margaritas run for about €6 in Naples. But one thing is certain, and pizza tastes better in Naples. And let's just cover the classic margarita. It's all starts with the dough made from just water, flour, salt, and yeast to achieve that really light crust that Neapolitan pizza is so famous for. The makers actually start on the dough the day before they serve it. So they give it 12 hours to rise, and that helps it avoid a chewy toughness. You don't want that. And then onto the toppings. It's only the finest of ingredients that are used as toppings. You'll start with San Marzano tomatoes for the sauce, the freshest mozzarella you can get your hands on, made only with water buffalo milk, of course. And then it's into the piping hot wood-fired oven for just 3 minutes. And when you pull it out, you can finish it with a dash of really good extra virgin olive oil and a basil leaf. To me, this is a perfect food. The sweetness and the acidity of the tomato sauce perfectly complement the richness of the cheese. And then you get to that crust and it's airy and a little crispy on the outside. I was in Naples for 2 days and I believe I ate 4 or 5 margarita pizzas. So you truly just can't get enough.
Well, I don't like the taste of defeat, but I do like the taste of cheese. And so my delicious dish nominee is Swiss cheese fondue. Nestled high in the Swiss Alps, it becomes a blend of garlic, multiple different types of local Swiss cheeses, white wine, and spices coming together to make a little bit of magic that is Swiss fondue. It's a communal event, and I always hike when I'm in Switzerland just so that I can earn this fondue. So normally you would have it after a day of sledding or a day of skiing, but in the summer you will find tourists having fondue. And so I will hike all day so that I can earn this. Let's be honest, it's not a light meal, it's a heavy meal, but it hits the spot right after that hiking and at the altitude. So look how happy I am. I know what I'm going to have for dinner. And here I am with my bus driver, Big John, and we have ordered a pot of fondue to share, and we are looking forward to it very, very much.
Well, you know, my favorite kind of comfort food is comfort food I can have over and over again without feeling any guilt. And that is the seafood paella, one of the most recognizable dishes anywhere in the world, native to the Valencia region of Spain. Imagine relaxing on the Spanish coast, enjoying the savory and filling flavors of paella. There's nothing better. In this rich dish, seafood is often served shell on. Don't worry, it's worth the effort. Delicious stock and wine flavored with saffron and garlic provide a delicious base for shrimp, squid, and other local catch. The rice is able to percolate beautifully in this delicious dish. Paella is meant to draw you in with its enticing aroma, particularly when prepared in this traditional frying pan, and it lends itself to a stunning visual presentation. Paella actually literally means frying pan in Valencian. So this is not a complex dish, but each ingredient is of high quality and the seafood is fresh. It is a simple and vibrant expression of coastal Spain like no other. Over to you, Gabe.
Thank you. Well, there is a reason that desserts are served at the end of a meal because we are truly saving the best for last here, people. No food in Europe makes me happier than a classic British cream tea. And that's because a cream tea isn't simply a tea. It's tea with a side of a hearty scone. In the UK, their scones are more like a sweet version of a Southern-style biscuit, and it's slathered with strawberry jam and clotted cream. There remains fierce debate between the good people of Cornwall and Devon about whether the jam or the cream gets applied first, but the most important thing is enjoying it. And putting the jam first, obviously. My first introduction to cream tea was when I was studying abroad in York, England, and ate at the quintessential Betty's Cafe tea rooms, where they offer a super-sized scone with almond teeth and candied cherry eyes called the Fat Rascal. Suffice it to say, he didn't last very long. Whether in a tea room or the British countryside, and whether you put jam or cream first, no food in Europe is more comforting and more delightful and better to enjoy with a circle of friends than a classic British cream tea. Whew, well, my mouth is watering. We are going to put those dishes into the arena and open our poll in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So as a reminder, your options are the original Neapolitan pizza, a hearty cheese fondue in the Swiss Alps, a fragrant Spanish seafood paella, or a classic British cream tea. And while the votes are going on, we have some food with us here tonight. Hopefully you're snacking on something. And we just, by chance, have all food starting with C. We have some great seafoods. I don't eat seafood, but I eat seafoods.
So I will start out with ours. This is a cheese platter because really life without cheese is not worth living.
Thank you to Lisa for assembling this. Didn't she do a great job? I love the height to it as
Beautiful.
well.
Emily, what did you provide?
I provided some Castelvetrano olives. To me, these are the gateway olives. Whenever people tell me they don't like olives, I always say, well, have you tried Castelvetrano? They are so delicate and buttery, and I might eat all of them. Sorry.
As with my presentation just now, I brought the dessert. These are some cannelés, a fine French pastry that I got from my local French bakery in Seattle, French guys.
And finally, you've seen
Ben
this.
brought the most important dish.
Yes, and I brought it, but Lisa suggested it. Just to give her full credit, and that would be champagne. So cheers once again.
Cheers once more.
everyone.
Cheers.
All right, so our voting has wrapped up. It is another tight race.
Is fondue pulling ahead?
That remains to be seen when we see the full results, Lisa, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. All right, so let's see. Ben, would you hold this, please, Rick? Okay. So the Rickademy Award in the category of Most Delicious Dish goes to the original Neapolitan pizza.
Well done. There you
Congratulations,
are.
Emily.
It's hard
Thank
to beat
you.
pizza.
It was hard to beat. I'll give you guys that. But you gave it a good effort.
When you said the margaritas in Naples were €6, I definitely had something else in mind, if I'm being honest.
You said that you hoped we liked the taste of defeat.
Yes.
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not.
I'm gonna wash
I'm
it
gonna
down.
bring it in that last category.
Yeah.
So sharing our results very quickly, we can see that paella was in second, followed by classic British cream tea, and then a hearty cheese fondue. Though all of them still have gotten almost a fifth of the votes. So, all right. Next up, let's see which we are getting into the heavy hitting categories now. We are getting down to it. So now, having settled most delicious dish and having some sustenance, we have the energy to power on to our two biggest categories.
All right. Well, I have the pleasure of introducing one of our major categories. And this is a hot and unending debate in our office. So please, viewers, help us settle it once for all. What great city is the greatest? And this is one we'll be verbally presenting. And so good luck to you three. I'm a little high on my win from last round.
You don't need luck, in other words.
And this is according to Rick, that these are the four greatest of the great cities in Europe that all merit 1 week of time, which is why we have our city tours there.
And I get to go first. This is a city that I love and I have argued for in the past. There is a quote from Samuel Johnson that says, and I will paraphrase, "When one is tired of London, one is tired of life, for London has everything that life can afford." So I'm going to talk about all of the wonderful things that you can do in London. London has castles from the 11th century right in the center of town that you can visit. A lot of things in London are free. So once you've paid your admission to the Tower of London, it comes with a free Beefeater tour. So my advice is get there when they first open, go straight to the Crown Jewels, which I don't have a picture of because they don't allow photographs, and then can circle back and take the Beefeater tour with the booming voice and their fun storytelling. It's a great couple of hour visit to the Tower of London. Again, a lot of the museums are free. So this is the British Museum, and it is famous for housing the Rosetta Stone, the key to unlocking ancient languages. You can also go over to the National Gallery. Again, how much does it cost, everybody?
Free.
It's free. That's right. You guys aren't going to be able to say that.
Cost
anywhere.
time you could be spending in Paris.
Oh, slapdashery. I don't believe it. You want art? We have some fantastic art in London. The Arnolfini wedding. We have Millet's Ophelia, the pre-Raphaelite brother. There's not even a crowd in front of this, and it's so evocative. Then we have museums of a different nature. We have the Cabinet War Rooms, where the British government was run during the Blitz. And the theater. So this is my daughter, Nora. Longtime viewers will recognize her. She is standing in front of 2 theater posters that we saw when we were there last February. We saw Stranger Things and we saw Hamilton. And the theater scene in London is the best quality in the world. It's very affordable. You can book ahead from home, or you can go to Leicester Square to this half-price TKTS booth, and you can buy things on the day of. And I usually do a combination. If there's something I really want to see, like Bradley Cooper and the Elephant Man just off Broadway, I will book that in advance. And then if I want to see something day of, like Wicked, I will just go and buy my discounted tickets. Also, if you like theater, this is where Shakespeare put on all of his plays. So this is the recreation of the Globe, and I would recommend seeing something there, but I would also recommend touring the building because it's really very interesting. And the pubs. Oh, please. If you want to connect with locals, going to the pubs is a fantastic way to do that. If you want to send out the signal that you're open for chatting, just stand at the bar and people are friendly. If you don't want to talk to anybody, just get a table. London also has a lot of amazing architecture. So you have this 17th century Christopher Wren St. Paul's Cathedral where Princess Diana got married and under the beautiful dome. Or you have Westminster Abbey from the 11th century where kings and queens are crowned, and it has some wonderful fan vaulting architecture. I would highly recommend that. And then there's a lot of modern architecture. So this, and they have fantastic nicknames. So you have the walkie-talkie, you have the cheese grater, and you have, I think it should be called the lipstick. Now, London has a lot of really wonderful walking tours. There's a good company called London Walks, walks.com, very entertaining. And then it has also great bus tours. And it is a home for international cuisine. So some of the best Indian restaurants anywhere in Europe are going to be in London. And then you can go on food tours. So this is the Spitalfields Market East End food tour with all kinds of different foods that you can try. You can go to Borough Market and have this wonderful chocolate dripping over strawberries when they're in season. English strawberries are delightful. And then my friend Gabe can talk to you for a long time about how good a British cream tea is. So I think that if you are into life, go to London, say yes to life, and vote for London.
Thank you, Lisa. The debate rages on, though, Paris versus London. It's been debated before. It doesn't matter who won last time. But Paris was the first city I visited in continental Europe. This is me at the tender age of 20, and it's the next European city I'll travel to in just a few days. On my first trip, I learned that Paris is Europe's preeminent home of art and the capital of the European art de vivre, the art of good living. Of course, Paris houses the greatest collections of European art, from the world-renowned Louvre to the impressionist paradise of the Musée d'Orsay to modern marvels like the Pompidou Center. In these places, you can find everything from ancient Sumerian sculptures to surrealist Chagall dreamscapes, all within a 1-mile walk. But in Paris, food is also art. From chic eateries that led Rick to say that France has one of Europe's 2 great cuisines, to charming markets along the Rue Claire, to aromatic cheese shops that smell like the feet of angels. Paris has the best gastronomy you could hope to find, and in Paris, people really do stop by the boulangerie on the way home to pick up a fresh baguette to eat with dinner. But most of all, Parisians see life as an art and make time to enjoy it, from the Luxembourg Gardens to the banks of the Seine. While London is bustling, Rome is historic, and Istanbul is eclectic, Paris is the great city in Europe that has best mastered l'art de vivre, and that makes it uniquely sensational. All right.
All right.
Best of luck, Rome.
All right. Well, that was a good effort, Gabe. But Paris can't possibly top the Eternal City. Rome is nearly 3,000 years old, and the history, even as far back as the ancients, is tangible. Today, 21st century Romans live in 19th century apartment buildings that overlook ancient Roman temples. Winding medieval streets tangle up trendy neighborhoods. And the Victor Emmanuel Monument, which commemorates the unification of Italy in 1861, overlooks the Roman Forum, aka the birthplace of ancient Rome. Across town is the world's best preserved ancient temple, the 2,000-year-old Pantheon. And inside is its equally ancient dome, which during the Renaissance served as inspiration for St. Peter's Basilica, as well as the Duomo in Florence. The Borghese Gallery brims with Baroque masterpieces, including Bernini's gravity-defying Apollo and Daphne. And in the Sistine Chapel, underneath Michelangelo's Renaissance masterpiece, The Last Judgment, cardinals still gather to elect the new pope. And next door is Rick's vote for the greatest church on earth, St. Peter's Basilica, which sits atop the ancient grave of St. Peter, aka Jesus's right-hand man. So in Rome, really, history isn't an artifact that's behind glass. History is alive, and it's part of the fabric of everyday life. And jaw-dropping moments can get a little tiring, so be sure to fuel up on plenty of gelatos. And for dinner, you can carb a load with pasta for your next day of sightseeing. All right, Istanbul.
Thank you very much, Emily. We will continue our trek east. You might have noticed the trend here, and that's my favorite direction to travel in Europe, as everyone here certainly knows. So we will finish off this category with Istanbul. Today, a city with 20 million people, Istanbul is literally where East meets West and where the past meets the present. But don't be intimidated by this big city. Istanbul's infrastructure has modernized rapidly. Sitting on the mighty Bosphorus, hop on a boat tour, and enjoy straddling 2 continents. This is where Europe and Asia meet. The Blue Mosque, named for its brightly colored tiles, is welcoming to visitors and provides the perfect introduction to Islam. This is a great place to broaden your perspective. The Grand Bazaar offers you the opportunity to experience the world's oldest shopping mall. Dive right in. Mounds of colorful spices, dried fruit, and Turkish delight wow and entice at the spice market. This is my favorite place to shop in Istanbul. The main drag of Istiklal Street is teeming with people and lined with shopping temptations, fine old architecture, and some showy street food as well. But when in Istanbul, you must appreciate the incredible diversity of the people living here, and hopefully you'll meet a few of them. The city's residents are its most unique and prized possession. Few destinations on Earth give you a bigger dose of travel's best souvenir, a broader perspective, than the greatest city that is Istanbul. Okay, that is all for Greatest of the Great Cities.
All right.
Just that. I feel like we just went on an entire tour. I'm tired.
Somebody in the comments said that we should make a tour with 2 nights in each of these places.
Oh,
I would
you
be
get
so
some
long about
cultural
threats.
whiplash on that tour.
All right, everyone. Well, while Gabe opens the polls, I invite you all to help us settle this hot and fiercely debated debate. What is the greatest of the great cities? London, Paris, Rome, or Istanbul?
Well, I was just in Paris and London.
Well,
I'm headed, and I was just in Paris and Rome, and I'm headed to London in the fall of my free
Okay.
time.
Is this one where we should share what our favorite is? I'm curious.
I think that we need to wait until voting.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah, I was just doing the traditional smack talking.
That you're going everywhere but Istanbul.
I went to Istanbul a couple weeks ago.
I was in Istanbul last year.
Oh, you were in Istanbul last year?
So was I.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why we picked you to do that category. How's the voting coming along?
I think it is nearly done.
Yeah, and I will also mention that this poll also included some votes from our social media followers. And so over the weekend, we asked everyone on our social media platforms what is the greatest of the great cities, and they came out in full fury. And so while we tally the votes, please enjoy a look back down memory lane with us of some of the moments that have made us laugh over the years on Monday Night Travel.
Right. Here we go with our bloopers, and then we'll come to you with that result.
So this is Secret Switzerland. You won't find it in our book, and it isn't on our tour anymore. And the honest reason for that is we think the Lauterbrunnen Valley is the best option for your time travelers? Okay, starting off great.
It also offers beautiful views of the Northern Islands and has very strong winds. Ah.
Can I add something as somebody who guides tours that go through Germany? What happens to the tour members when they order lemonade? What do they get?
And this doesn't even do it justice. It's a beautiful post office built in the, whoa, oh my gosh. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I apologize, everyone. There is a really big bug. Oh, that just flew right up.
So how did that feel to you? You did wonderfully, Dave. Good night, everybody. Good night, Dave. Good night, Emily.
Good night, John. Good night, John boy.
Ow!
Lisa, can you tell us what happens when you order lemonade?
Well, apparently nothing. No, when you order lemonade in Germany, you get something like Sprite. And so it's always a surprise and sometimes a disappointment to my tour members. And I thought that all tour guides knew that. And Jim and Dave just didn't really know where I was going with that. So obviously they didn't ever have that.
So we've just learned that in the category of most knowledgeable tour guide, Lisa would definitely have the edge.
Maybe they just don't like lemonade.
Don't butter me up, sir.
I only butter up my British scones before putting jam and cream on them. Thank you very much.
You said jam came first before. You're changing your answer.
Well, you can put butter and then jam and then cream.
Whoa, that is
sometimes you put butter on.
Okay.
Just saying, but not before the cream.
All right, well, Gabe, thank you for tallying those votes. And without further ado, it's time to announce the winner of the greatest great city. All right.
The big one.
I'm at the edge of my seat here. Okay. All right. The greatest of the great cities is Paris.
I get to keep it? Oh, well, thank you to all of the people of Paris that make it such a beautiful place. I'm excited to see you in 4 days. I'm sure I'll be given a hero's welcome. March to the Arc de Triomphe. They're going to have a parade for me actually when I'm there on the 14th. Did you know that?
The firemen are going to be having balls in their firehouses. Those are big parties. I would definitely look into that if I were you.
This is Bastille Day?
Yes.
Because the Eiffel Tower is lit up as well, right?
Yeah, they do fireworks at the Eiffel Tower, which is okay, but the parties at the firehouses are where it's at.
And so I will share the results from our Zoom viewers. Again, we also had votes from our social media followers. If you want to see what others were saying on social media, we had a lot of great comments with people sharing their favorite aspects of the various cities. Of course, we think they are all phenomenal. But we can see that Paris did have the edge here. Though my guess is that Istanbul suffers a bit just from not as many people having been there before.
Less exposure, certainly.
So certainly worth a visit, I can say, after going last year.
Agreed.
All right. Well, that brings us to our final category. But first, we are going to take a quick moment to recognize some of the many people that make Monday Night Travel happen, especially at this caliber. While we get plenty of on-screen time, we have many knowledgeable, capable, fantastic, and kind colleagues that help us out behind the scenes and bring Monday Night Travel to you, and we want to give them a quick shout out. I'm going to begin with our graphic designers that help make these great graphics like the ones that we are seeing here. We have Heather Locke and Rhonda Pelican that make all of these beautiful images and really enhance Monday Night Travel, and our director of marketing, Lisa Werner, who makes sure that everybody knows about Monday Night Travel through the newsletter.
We also have a fantastic editing crew. Zen, who stitches together our videos like what you've seen here this evening, puts in a tremendous effort. So thank you so much. Then we also have Barb helping us with our recordings of Monday Night Travel on YouTube, and Sherry helps us add the recordings to our website and to our grand MNT archive, which after tonight will have 200 shows.
And of course, we have to give a shout out and a big thank you to our frequent contributors, Cameron Hewitt and Robin Stencil, who are practically Monday Night Travel hosts themselves at this point. And of course, Julianne Worden, she still works with us in the office. She's just in a behind the scenes role, but she played a huge part in Monday Night Travel. So big thank you to all of these 3 contributors.
And our thanks go to our social media maven, Amanda Kurtzman, our brand marketing leader, Aggie Nixon Kirshner, and our founder and inspiration, Rick Steves.
And Amanda's our red carpet reporter.
Yes.
And our
I
red carpet
can't forget.
reporter, yes.
So we have arrived.
We've arrived at the last, and some would say the most important category, the most magnificent Monday night episode. So tonight we have 4 nominees, and we're going to vote and announce the winners. Who is starting us off? It's a video. It's my first video category to introduce. So you're still at the helm, my friend, and I appreciate it.
All right, so let's enjoy a few minute-long snippets from our favorite Monday Night Travel shows. And this does come from our viewers. We've spent the past few weeks collecting nominations from our viewers. And so these nominees come from all of you, and you'll get the final vote in just a moment.
Thanks to all of you for tuning in and joining us on our first ever Monday Night Travel. And today we're going to go to the Alps of Austria and Italy, and it's a party. I need to talk to people about travel. I don't know about you, but it's something about just being in touch and sharing and enthusing, and that's what we're going to do today. And I want to remind you, we're all together on this. I'm here in my living room. You're in your living room. This is the party, and I got my wine.
The Alpi di Susi is a natural preserve at the foot of the mighty Sasso Lungo and Sasso Piatto peaks. The meadow is 3 miles wide by 7 miles long and seems to float at 6,000 feet above sea level. It's dotted by farm huts and wildflowers, surrounded by dramatic Dolomite peaks, and crisscrossed by meadow trails, ideal for equestrians, flower lovers, and walkers.
And ideal for a lazy travel writer that just wants a beer with the best alpine view anywhere.
But I always feel like in the end, Paris' greatest pleasures are its simplest. In my opinion, no time in Paris can be better spent than strolling through its beautiful parks, along its pedestrianized boulevards, or along the banks of the Seine. In fact, the banks of the Seine are so beloved that they were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, something that cannot be claimed by the Thames.
Well, I would have to say if my choices of entertainment for the evening were the can, the Moulin Rouge, I would just be asking, can I see something else?
It's really sort of a cultural cliche. You won't find a lot of French people inside. Sorry, it was our
cliches exist for a reason. Another great French word, cliche.
It's true. Well, I would also say one of the reasons I love London is that unlike Paris that has the same things kind of done over and over again, like the can, you know what you're going to get when you're going to Paris. In London, there's always something new and exciting. And that's why I like going back there again and again, like with the entertainment. Oh, what show is going on tonight? What music will they have in this area? And it's just an exciting place to go.
The other thing you might associate with Gdansk is that back in the 1980s, this was the birthplace of the Solidarity movement, which was the first legal trade union, not initially legal, but later the first legal trade union that was allowed within the Soviet bloc. Tomasz, tell me a little bit about, I mean, you were growing up kind of at this point. What are your memories of this period, of this sort of transition, slow transition out of communism?
So we use the word slow transition, but let's be honest, it was full of pain and suffering. and victims and such. And like for me, like I was a child at that point, but I remember the moment when the communists kind of like wanted to put down the solidarity idea movement that was born in 1980. There were tanks on the street. I remember this day was Sunday, and this Sunday was the only day where we had cartoons on TV, and there were no cartoons on that day. So young Thomas remembers that way. And there was a curfew, you couldn't travel. There was a lot of people being arrested, and it lasted 2 years until 1983.
I also love rolling my clothes. There are people who are in the camp of folding. There are people in the camp of rolling. I am firmly in the rolling camp. So let's get started. So I also find that while some of my clothes do get wrinkled, by putting them on, and I learned this from Rick, your body heat will make those wrinkles release throughout your morning. So it's not as big a deal as you might think. If you're the kind of person who really likes your clothes crisp, every hotel is going to have an iron that you can borrow from the front desk. And if you're ironing on vacation, God bless you. It's not me. So this is all my clothes for my trip, whether it's 14 days or 40. And I can lift it, I can throw it, and I can toss it. Thank you for picking the super cheesiest clip.
Well, with you, there are a lot of cheesy clips to choose from,
Yeah.
both literally and figuratively.
That's true, and yet Fondue did not win. So will you launch the poll for us as I will reiterate what we have going on? So we have
Launch the final poll.
launched the final poll. So we have Rick in the Alps, is that correct?
Austrian and Italian Alps.
Yes, that's lovely. Our very first episodes was a walk back in time. You have our first destination duel that again watched Paris decimate my beloved London. It was a great show. And then you have the very personal and moving Poland with Cameron and Tomasz. And then the first packing show that I did, Packing Light and Right. So please cast your votes for that.
And I will say it was so fun receiving nominations from all of you we collected nominations through Zoom, through social media, and just asked people which of the past 199 Monday nights most stuck with them. And we know that for many of you, the answer is a lot of them, and we're grateful for that. But it's kind of fun to see shows that honestly I had forgotten about a little bit, that like it still was sticking with people years later.
When I'm out on the road, I often have people come up to me, not super often, but every once in a while people will come up and they say that, you know, somehow we made their lives during lockdown a little bit better. And that really, I think, means a lot to me, and it means a lot to you. So we really appreciate all of the support that we get from our audience all the time. And we hope that we made your lives a little bit better during a pretty dark time. And we hope that you learned how to pack right.
I remember I was running the Seattle half marathon and I got to mile 9 out of 13, and I was going through a bit of a rough patch in that race, and I heard some people cheer, "Go Gabe, we love Monday Night Travel." And it gave me like the little like extra push that I needed to get back on track in that race.
That is so nice. We do have the best viewers.
You remember the first episode, Gabe?
Oh, I remember. I remember Ben and I quadruple checking every single setting. So nervous about how it was going to go.
I just remember the relief when it was a success. That's all I remember, actually.
Yeah.
You remember doing 2 shows a night?
Yo, that's
when we
yeah.
I don't miss that.
Can I just say, you guys started Monday Night Travel before I even worked here, and I actually used to watch it. So
I didn't know.
yeah,
if I
it's
knew
pretty
that.
crazy. I'm sitting here with you guys right now.
Who knows? One of you watching at home could be sitting next to us one day. Monday Night Travel.
Yeah, dreams do come true. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Gabe, you
With
will
that-
fill out the ballot, please.
Okay. Yes. All right.
We're having a great time, but it is very far from my eyes to the screen. So Gabe is.
This will be our first envelope open of the night that actually has text written in it.
Okay. And the winner is Rick in the Alps, our very first episode. Yay!
Oh, a nostalgic one. Looking at the results, Lisa, I will say you jumped out to a commanding lead at first. But
That
and you
shows that-
still finished up in second, but Rick slowly chipped away. I think the
Well,
nostalgia factor of the first episode.
If I'm gonna lose to anyone, I'm gonna lose to Rick Steves, and I'll be darn honored for that.
All right. Well, let's see here. So, I think certainly we had some results tonight that were expected, but a few that were also a bit surprising.
Yeah, I have to
That's
say,
cool.
I'm really surprised Rick yodeling didn't bring home best musical moment, personally.
Yeah, I am as well. I probably would have voted for that. Yeah.
As would I.
I was also surprised that the original Neapolitan pizza. I mean, it's a favorite, but it seemed almost too simple. But I mean,
That's the beauty of it, Gabe. You obviously haven't eaten 5 pizzas in 48 hours and not gotten sick of them.
So what city would we all vote for, Emily? For the greatest city?
To be honest, I would vote for London.
Gabe?
I would say London before, but since I went to Istanbul last year, I think Istanbul was the one I would like maybe most want to argue for.
I like that. My vote would be London.
London, tried and true. Yeah.
Oh, so we are a bunch of Londoner. London also would be up there for me.
I think in the position that we're in, we like museums and we like history, and London just really does have the most wide variety of museums of all those places, I feel like.
And I think we talked before that London is maybe one that there's a little bit more to discover time after time going there. I feel like it took until like my 4th or 5th time in London to be like, oh, wow. Whereas some of the others maybe are more like Paris. I think I enjoyed more on a first visit.
But Rick would say Paris.
Yes.
In answering this question.
All right. Well, we are not doing a Q&A tonight, but I do want to finish with one final question, both for my fellow hosts and for all of you. We've done 200 shows now, and I am wondering what everybody's personal favorite Monday Night Travel memory is, whether it's something that happened on the screen or something that happened behind the scenes. For us, that could be in our planning meetings. For you all at home, it could be somebody that you were watching with or a dish that you made on a specific night. So if you're watching from home, we'd love if you would put in the Q&A your favorite Monday Night Travel moment from the past 200. We'll be looking forward to watching those. But from my fellow hosts, I would love to know what your favorite moment was. Ben, can I start with you?
Yep, certainly. I would say broadly that any Monday Night Travel that involved the 4 of us collectively, those were my favorite Monday Night Travel moments, because it takes a lot of effort collectively to put one of these collaborative shows together, and I learned so much from each of you. It's a real joy. So thank you, the 3 of you, for so many wonderful experiences.
Thank you for coming home to us.
Yeah, after Russia and Finland. Yeah. Well, Finland was tempting. Finland is still tempting.
And your Russia and Finland trip report also scored very highly for people's favorite Monday Night Travel. So
I'm honored.
Emily?
Well, I would have to say that I just so enjoy the opportunity to get to work with our guides and work with just different people we work here in the office with that I wouldn't get the chance to if I wasn't a Monday Night Travel host. And like Ben said, I love working with the 3 of you. We really have a lot of fun together. So it's just been a great time.
Gabe?
I would have to say the first time that we did, it was one of our Festival of Europe / Monday Night Travel crossover episodes in January of 2023. Rick had the idea to do 22 nights in a row, which I was the project manager for. And the final night was a live streamed party at Rick's house. And the amount of sleep that I lost worrying about how that was going to go, and it went so well. We were in Rick's kitchen with 50 of our Rick Steves Europe staffers and hundreds of our viewers like you walking around Rick's kitchen while he had his microphone and would just interview people. And I was kind of amazed how much our staff just kind of went along with it like the computer was just another person at the party. I was tasked with carrying the computer around, but I had to kind of look to make sure it was aimed correctly. And at one point I remember like you could see my nose descend into the shot and about, 5,000 people just saw up my nose, which was a proud moment for me. But it really was a proud moment for me to be able to share with our viewers at home what a special group of staffers we have. Rick always talks about our esprit de corps at the company, and that was something that was really palpable, and it was great to have our viewers as part of it.
Absolutely.
Lisa.
Well, my best memory, a lot of times people think when I'm doing my tour guiding that I have a dream job. And there are days where they don't pay me enough money, but there are days where it's like stealing. So I do appreciate tour guiding, but this has been my dream job. I have gotten to do a cooking show, and I have gotten to share my hard-earned travel advice with packing. I've gotten to interview travel experts, and now an award show. So if you told my 8-year-old self that I would get to be in a room with these wonderful people and that I would have the job that I have, I love everything about this job. And we've kind of already said it, but it is worth repeating. We're an equal parts team. We are 4 corners of the same square, and it is unusual and amazing to get to work with people who care about their jobs this much and are smart and thoughtful and just want to create the best product. And so I'm really lucky in all my aspects for that. So yeah, it's true.
Oh, thank you all for those answers. Thank you for all of you. We look forward to reading your answers, and it's that time of the night. Ben, take us out.
It is. Well, thank you everyone so very much for celebrating 200 Monday night travels with the 4 of us. But don't worry, this is not the end, of course. We're back next week. Rick will have another of his trip reports on his recent travels, so we look forward to having you join us for that. On Thursday, it's this week on Thursday, right, Gabe?
Yes.
We have another Tours 101. So if you're interested in learning more about our tours or would like to snag that discount, please join us for that. And also, speaking of discounts, tonight at 12 o'clock Pacific time, our early booking discount for 2026 tours expires. So remember that if you'd like to join us for 2026, right now is the time to sign up. And finally, in August, we will have a Portugal road trip on Monday Night Travel, and we would like to include some of your travels in that presentation as well. So just send us a photo and a few sentences to share at ricksteves.com. So that's all from us for our 200th Monday Night Travel. Thanks again to all of you. You make this possible, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Wow, thanks so much for joining us. What an amazing show. And of course, congratulations to all the winners. A few surprises in there. I loved it. We can't wait to see what the next 200 episodes of Monday Night Travel have in store. Until next time, keep on traveling.